Man, look, I have to speak on this concerning Tyrann Mathieu. Man, first of all, for you to be from the city, but then you talk about all these things that happened in the city when you were growing up in the city, and but then you come back and say when you touch down, you got to get out the city because you have fear for the city and the people that live in the city are certain people in certain areas. Well, if you as a kid grew up with this, shouldn't you recognize that being an adult and understanding that kids and teens and those people in those areas need help and you're in a position to do it? You've been in the pro since what, 2013? What have you done for the city? Like right now, the murder of an NFL player shouldn't have you speaking out. It shouldn't have you talking about how bad the city is. Don't let, because you're speaking on a league that you're a part of. I'm speaking about a community that I grew up in. You grew up in a community before you were a part of a league. So matter of fact, just like parts of your thing.
When it happens to somebody of that character, and me being a current NFL player, it hits so close to home for me.
Now, first of all, it shouldn't take because Will Smith debt for it to hit so close to home for you. It should have hit so close to home when that young lady was killed with her daughter. It should have hit so close to home when that young lady and her boyfriend and her unborn child were murdered. It should have hit close to home when that young lady was found on the interstate in pieces. Like, don't let it hit close to home because you are familiar with somebody. And that's the problem with so many people. Until it touches your family or touches one of your friends, you don't care about it. But as soon as it happens to you, you want to talk about the people that were doing the exact same thing you were doing prior to that. And as a pro player, you don't come down here with foundations. A lot of people only do stuff because the NFL asks them to participate in it. Everybody wants to get the team together to go visit kids in the hospitals. What have you done outside of the league that proves that you really care about this city? That proves that you care about the community? It shouldn't take Keenan Lewis to challenge you to come down here and do something for the youth. You should have been doing that before this incident even happened. I don't approve of anyone murdering or killing, robbing anyone. I don't approve of that. But at the same time, don't be part of a whole system that takes somebody of another race, and when they do it, they tell us that it's a mental illness and we should look at how that person was raised. But as soon as a black person does it, or somebody from an urban area, it's no longer a mental illness, it's a society sickness. And I'm tired of that. Like, if you can't help the situation, don't run to all these avenues where you have a platform at and talk about how bad it is down here. Like, what you should do is use that platform to help and to bring up the city, the area, and everybody else that you grew up with. Because I'm quite sure some of the people you claim that you grew up around and you knew these parents that were single parents and their parents were in jail and all these other things. If you know those type people, how come you didn't go get the friends of your friends or those kids of those type people and start an organization? You don't have to be down here to do it. You could be surrounded by people who's going to get it done. So until you get to that place where you see you're contributing to something, you shouldn't talk about the stuff that people are taking away from it, because you're not in that position to even talk about that. You're really opening your mouth because it was an NFL player. And as far as that's concerned, like I said, too many people jump to conclusions about what happened. Whether or not Cardell did it maliciously, whether or not Will Smith initiated it. What it is about is that you let it go until you find the facts, because you'll speak on somebody, then you'll look stupid and have to retract your words. And on top of that, it should be more important about the character of both of those people. I can't see somebody telling me about one person when all of us go through certain things. I don't think it had anything to do with somebody being a thug, somebody being ignorant, somebody growing up in a certain area. What I believe, and in both of those positions, that two grown men both made mistakes, and the decisions that one I have to live with, I'm quite sure he'll regret it. I don't think he went looking for it. I think it just happened because one person made a mistake and the second person reacted from that mistake, making a bigger mistake. So leaving all that stuff out the way, trying to grab in the urban youth and the thugs, that wasn't gang related. That wasn't a bunch of hoodlums trying to rob somebody. So until you get to that point where you see what it truly is, please don't sit there and do interviews telling us how it should be.